Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Boom. This is a show where we wake by the Saturday morning sun, pop down on the floor with the big bowl of sugary cereal, and we'll try your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm your vain, muscular weird boy, Joseph.
And I'm an evil madman with cute little kitty ears. My name's Chris.
And today we watched Road Rovers.
Boo!
It took everything in me to not jump into the Freakazoid song after listening to this intro, because it sounds like it's just trying to copy the Freakazoid song over and over again. There's
There's a lot of similarities with this and Freakazoid in various ways.
Which, no matter how you feel about Freakazoid, that's something I want to go back to someday and give another shot. But this just feels like a knockoff of that, in the sense that it's trying to really play on that same humor.
Yes, absolutely. Like the spirit of it, for sure. Like the plot and characters completely different, but the spirit and some of the types of gags and jokes, 1000% you are correct. To the point that, like, I don't know if you checked into it, but I wonder if this had the same, if not similar, writers or the same studio, because I do know that this aired on the same block as Freakazoid.
Yeah, that's something I'll get into a little bit.
Okay.
So, first of all, who suggested this to us?
This was suggested to us by our Patreon supporter, Seth. So thank you very much, Seth.
Yes, thank you, Seth.
I just wanted to say real quick, this is one that I loved as a kid. I didn't realize it had so few episodes, but I really liked it when I was a wee lad.
This is one that I thought was Paw Patrol up until a week ago.
Yeah. When I sent you what episodes we were going to watch, you were sending me Paw Patrol, like GIFs and memes and whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, that's not what it is.
I didn't know they weren't the same thing.
It's not.
Okay, now I know. So the show Road Rovers aired from 1996 to 1997, created by Tom Ruegger, who also created Tiny Toon Adventures, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, and Hysteria, and was the senior producer and a writer on Freakazoid. So,
well,
this all makes sense. It's basically just like one of his products, but this is kind of like a compilation of everything he did, which I don't think was necessarily to its favor, but we'll talk about that.
This makes a lot of sense, though, because like all of those shows, because also like Animaniacs was one I wanted to compare it to also. And I was just like, but I don't know why it makes me feel like Animaniacs. Because I'm like, they have nothing in common, but for some reason it still has like some weird sensibility about it that I can't really, I don't know, figure out. But now it makes sense because this guy worked on like all of these shows.
Right. And he was a writer on this one, created the others. So I am assuming was one of the head writers on the other ones as well.
Right.
So it really makes sense that this is just this guy's sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't like to diversify it, really. It's like, this is what I find funny, and this is what you're going to get every single show.
Very similar character personalities in all of those shows.
Yeah, and the fourth wall breaking at times.
Oh, yeah, always fourth wall breaking.
A lot of, like, repetition to his jokes. And, again, we're going to dive into all this. So this was also created by Jeff Gordon. Not the Jeff Gordon you're thinking of.
Oh, really?
No. Written by Tom Ruegger and Mark Seidenberg. Directed by Herb Moore. Produced by Warner Brothers Television Animation. Ran for one season, only 13 episodes. Like you said, not a very long run. Originally on Kids WB and 9 Network in Australia.
Oh, all right.
For a short synopsis, Road Rovers is an animated action adventure series starring the most buffed up and powerful howling hounds ever to walk the planet. The series features fur-raising adventures of man's best friend, actually the pets of various heads of state from around the globe, courageous canines who doggedly defeat and protect all that's good in the galaxy.
Oh my gosh. They're like, how many dog puns could they fit in there?
As many as possible.
Yeah, I think they did it.
This is one of the first synopses I've read that has been very... like prepped by the show itself. It's like, if you're going to talk about the show, you have to read this one.
Right? Oh man, they're like, everyone's under contract.
Yeah.
You have to read it this way. It has to contain at least 3 dog puns.
If at least 1 or 2 dog puns per sentence.
Otherwise, you're going the route of Old Yeller.
Gonna put you out to pasture.
Yeah.
So who were some of the actors who played in the show?
This show, believe it or not, has some of the greatest voice actors you'll ever find in a series, and all of them just in one. This is just a who's who of amazing voice actors from this era of animation. So a lot of them I'm not going to spend too much time in. I'll name them. There's 2 names that I wasn't that familiar with, so I will dive into who they are. But these other names you're going to recognize, so we won't get too far into them. So the voice of Hunter was provided by Jess Harnell. Obviously, someone we're very familiar with, especially with things like Animaniacs. Colleen, voiced by Tress McNeil. Exile, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson. Blitz, voiced by Jeff Bennett. Shag and Muzzle, both voiced by Frank Welker. Here's one of the ones that I wasn't familiar with. So Master was voiced by Joseph Campanella. And this guy, he was mostly known for live action roles for decades. He's been in tons and tons of television and movies, but he did voice the role of Dr. Kurt Connors in a lot of Spider-Man stuff from the early 90s, like that first early 90s Spider-Man cartoon, all the way through like 2005. So different Spider-Man cartoons and games, he was reprising that role as Kurt Connors. So if you can remember that voice, that was him.
That makes sense. I do remember.
You can probably hear it now, right?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. General Parvo, you could probably tell, was Jim Cummings. And then finally, the groomer was Sheena Easton, which was fun to learn. A Scottish pop star from the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
And to be honest, like, I don't know what it is. Like, Scottish accents are such a conundrum, because it's like, when I hear a guy with a Scottish accent, I'm like, I have no idea what this guy is saying, but it's hilarious. And when I hear a woman with a Scottish accent, I'm like, it's like instantly attractive to me. I'm like, oh my goodness. Hello. Let me introduce myself. So, yeah, I don't know what it is about that accent, but it's got an effect.
Well, in this show, she's a villain, so maybe that just says something about you.
Yeah, I mean, I like villains. You know this.
Yeah, true. And for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Road Rover cereal, Hunter made a cameo appearance as a background statue in the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries 4th season premiere episode, The Stilted Perch / A Game of Cat and Monster.
That's random.
Yeah, and Road Rovers made a cameo appearance in the Teen Titans Go 6th season episode, Hugbees.
What?
Yeah, but
okay.
You know what? With Teen Titans Go though, like, didn't they even have like the Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School like guest star on it at some point, or like cameo in it?
I that sounds familiar, but I don't know. If they did, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it might be a different show I'm thinking of, but I definitely, Teen Titans Go is one that gets unnecessary amount of hate. We talked about it when we watched the movie, but that's one I want to. Yeah, I want to dive back into, at least to hear The Night Begins to Shine again.
Oh, yeah. I have that on my Spotify. I listen to it every once in a while.
So I didn't really have a lot more than that as far as marshmallows go.
Okay.
There wasn't much to it, really. I guess because it was such a short run that it kind of got, not erased, but it's just not really a lot going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So we can just move on with it, I suppose.
Let's do it. Well, actually, let's hit the road.
Oh, no.
That first episode, season 1, episode 1. In that one, or in this episode, brilliant scientist Dr. Shepard develops a pack of superpowered canines to stop General Parvo and his mutant dogs from destroying the world. I guess let me throw in real quick that Parvo, for anyone who doesn't know, is like a highly contagious dog canine disease. So it's extra terrifying that their villain in this is named General Parvo.
God, everything is dog themed. Everything is dog themed. Oh my goodness.
So
All
Okay,
right.
let's name let's like talk about the cast a little bit because there
Yeah.
are probably at least 7 main characters, so we got to
Well, and
go
I
through
would
them.
say that in all honesty, that is the show's strong suit is
Sure.
the characters. But I think as far as a strong suit goes, that's it is the characters.
I also think well, I'm not going to go there yet. I'm going to mention this later, but we'll talk
Okay.
about the characters. Let's talk about I'll just name the species or whatever, and then we'll talk about their characteristics briefly.
Sure.
So Exile is a Siberian Husky. He is the one. So they all have different superpowers of sorts. He's the one who has like frost vision and also like heat vision. So he just has kind of like a Superman sort of like laser eyes kind of thing.
He's also kind of got like super strength too.
A little bit, yeah.
They hit on like every once in a while he lifts up really heavy objects that you don't see the others do, except for Shag also has some super strength to him too. But
and he's probably one of the most grounded of them all, I guess.
Yeah, big time.
And because he's always calling out Blitz as telling him to not be a weird boy. Because Blitz is the Doberman Pinscher who is essentially an Arnold Schwarzenegger like wannabe with the accent and everything, but he's just like the buff kind of like really vain character. I don't really know what his power is aside from just being strong.
It's his jaws.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he has like super jaw strength, like and like super sharp teeth, but he also can grow his like claws out real fast, like almost kind of Wolverine style, but like his actual, the claws on his toe beans.
Yeah. So when we say his bite, it's like almost like a steel trap jaw kind of bite.
Yes.
Like it will just bite through anything.
Yeah, he can bite through metal, whatever.
Yeah. Colleen is a rough collie. And she is basically like master of combat, and that's it, I guess. I don't know that she has much more. I mean, she's a great character as well, who is constantly forgetting that Blitz even exists for some reason. Like that's like a thing they have.
I think it's like they make it pretty obvious that she's doing it on purpose just because she thinks it's funny.
Yeah,
like she's the character that doesn't take anything seriously at any point, even when they're like dead to rights, about to die multiple times. She's cracking jokes, breaking fourth wall,
Yeah, as they do. Hunter, who is kind of the de facto leader, is the golden retriever, and he kind of has like Flash ability. He's got super speed.
Yes, he looks more like a lab to me than a retriever. He looks like a yellow lab.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a golden retriever at least.
I think he was supposed to be, but he definitely looks like a lab.
Right. Professor Hubert is a bloodhound. Well, actually, let's talk about Shag first. Shag is an old English sheepdog, and I think he's kind of like the one who's supposed to be the super strength, but also is an extreme coward.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the jokes I did think was kind of funny at first, but then like later on, I was just like, they really should address this or something. I don't know. They got to do something different at some point. Like they recruited him for his bravery, and I'm like, but he's a coward. So like,
yeah.
Can't you just be like, well, I did goof that one. Why are you still recruiting him? Why not just go get a different one then? There's so many dogs out there. Like there's not 6 dogs in the entire world. There's tons.
Yeah, the professor even, or the Dr. Shepard even says like, well, can't, not perfect or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, 4 out of 5. Wow.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you still have options, bro. You could have gotten a different one. And like we see later too, like in a totally different episode, they have their one base of operations with him, who they refer to as Master. And he's just like, our Road Rover counterparts around the world. And I'm like, first of all, each one of them is from a different country. Why are they not the counterparts from around the world? 2, you've got all of these other Road Rovers that you've made and planted in other places. So why do you still have Shag, who can't do anything? Because he's just a coward. He does nothing.
All he really does is hide food in his fur. He's kind of like a scared Chewbacca most of the time.
He is. He's Chewbacca with like the cowardly lions. demeanor.
With the voice of Beaker from Muppet Show, because he can't,
he's always just like me.
Yeah, he can't really speak like the other dogs can. Like, so he's, I don't know, like that's an interesting character, I guess, in that sense. One that I have like questions about, I guess, is Muzzle, who is the Rottweiler, who is like, he obviously has rabies or mange or something, but he is, so he's got a muzzle on, as his name implies, and he is like strapped in a straitjacket to just this rolling gurney thing always, like he never gets out of it. Or
it's the Hannibal Lecter thing.
Yeah, exactly. And he's also Scout, which as we go into this episode, we find out is Professor Shepard or Dr. Shepard's dog, who he initially was looking for, or who I'm mixing all these names up.
Yes,
General Parvo. General Parvo stole his dog, Scout, and was holding it hostage, and then takes it to this factory and like wants to exchange it for these blueprints for this basically the machine that would end up creating these superpowered canines. And he tricks him by just putting like a recording in there inside the cage, so he makes him think it's his dog Scout, and then just sets off a bomb to blow him up, presumably killing the Dr. Shepard.
Right.
So this is like supposed to be a really close like relationship that they had, since he was willing to do all that for his dog. And yet, when they are reunited and we finally find out at the end of this particular episode, this is actually Scout, he still doesn't let him out of his like muzzle or anything, doesn't try to help him or even turn him into like a superpowered canine. He's just there. He's just a dog the whole time.
Yeah, can I make it worse? Let me make it worse for you, because I don't know if you caught this. So, Scout, aka Muzzle, but we knew by the end of this episode, Muzzle was actually Scout, Master's original dog that he quote unquote loved. I know what
you're about to say.
Yeah,
about
when he's trying to recruit Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter and Muzzle are both in the same pound. They're about to be put down and led into like this little gas chamber thing, and that's when each time one of these dogs gets recruited, this like light shines over them, like I don't know, like Master's like God in heaven or something. He's like, Hunter, you have been chosen. And so Hunter is like about to like gets away and is about to leave to get to the Master to become a road rover. But he turns around because he's like, he's thinking he's going to save Muzzle. And Professor or whatever Master must know what's going on, because he tells Hunter, no, save yourself. But that's your dog, dude. So he essentially was just like, Hunter, leave my dog to die. I don't care. I don't give two craps about my old dog. I want him dead. Come on, man. That's what's happening. This is so messed up.
Yeah, that's the part that like really I'm conflicted with, because I don't know why he didn't even try with his old dog. He's like, well, he's got rabies now. Too late for him.
Yeah. Right.
But they do utilize, they don't in any of the episodes we watched, but they do utilize Muzzle / Scout as a like last ditch effort kind of thing. So they'll let him out of his muzzle and everything to like attack the enemy as they run off in fear, because they don't even want to be around him when he's let loose. So he is a weapon still for them, but it's just like, that's such a strange thing. Like, at least you can keep the muzzle on him. At least let him out of his like, let him out of his straitjacket and stuff. Like, what's he going to do? I don't know. It's
so like, it's just, they made a real big goof when they could have just not revealed that at the end that Muzzle was Scout, and it would have been okay.
Yeah, or not been like, hey, Hunter, leave that other dog behind.
Yeah, save yourself. Yeah,
right.
They really messed it up. They messed it up real bad. Because they just made it like this benevolent benefactor was just like, yeah, join me, but like let my own dog that I love, let him die. Also, then trust me with your life as I make you a soldier. It's no.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on from that point, which I'm sure will come up again. So in this episode, there is essential. So they're turned into these dog soldiers with this, or not dog soldiers, these dog like superheroes, basically. Well, I mean, soldiers, yes. With this transdogmifier machine in this underground city that's essentially a giant fire hydrant, or like a golden fire hydrant city underground.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something that is also a little troubling is that like the professor, before he was, thought dead after that bomb exploded, had a family. Like, like, you didn't even go back to your family or anything. You just kind of like hid underground.
We've already established this man does not have a great track record.
He's kind of messed up.
He is not a good man.
No,
at all.
Well, no, he's using innocent dogs as soldiers in his war against this general. Yeah. So let's just set it right off the bat. Like Dr. or Professor, whatever he is, Shepard is not a good person.
He's awful. He's a terrible man.
So General Parvo, the primary villain, he's the shredder of this situation. And he makes his own Bebop and Rocksteady, essentially, in this episode, with this Cocker Spaniel and Dalmatian combo, utilizing the transdogmifier machine. But his doesn't make them into like sentient in the sense that they're talking, really. They're just more monstrous the way that he creates them. So they're more mutants, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
He doesn't have like he knows somewhat of the technology, but he doesn't have the right technology to do it the correct way.
Right. Or make it permanent.
Yeah. And I do want to say, like, to one tidbit that does kind of make a little bit of like just with this entire thing of making these dog soldiers, the one thing that does make it a little bit like, even though it's a real wild concept, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of see it now, is like the idea of why they do all this is the loyalty that dogs innately have. So like his whole thing is, if I make these soldiers, like they will never turn on me like a human would. They will be loyal to me forever. And that's like that's the thing. And I'm like, okay, that actually, I kind of get that. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, so that tracks, except for the fact that you're giving them like more human-esque frame of thought. So that could kind of conflict with it a bit, I would think. But, I don't know that they touch on that at all.
They still have like some of their animal instincts, though. Like,
oh, yeah, when they're greeting each other.
Yeah, when the Road Rovers all meet for the first time, even when they're in their like humanish form, they all drop to the floor and start sniffing each other's butts. So.
Yeah. So they do still have some dog things.
I want to say real quick though, like just so everyone is aware, General Parvo looks like Hulk Hogan cosplaying as Doc Terror, and you'll never unsee it now, Joseph. That's what he looks like.
Oh yeah, essentially, there's a lot to this guy that we'll touch on later.
Oh my God, yeah. Because I didn't remember that, and that threw me for a loop.
I didn't know that at all, so that was like, what? Okay, so in this episode, essentially, like, the Cocker Spaniel Dalmatian monster combo are there. They get stopped by the Road Rovers, and then between missions, the Road Rovers are turned back into regular dogs and given to, but instead of being like, strays or whatever, they're given to world leaders in different countries as their pets. But the world leaders don't know that they are, moonlighting as these superheroes. So it's a weird kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's a kid's show.
Sure. It
don't matter.
You can't really like split
we
hairs.
We gotta throw logic out.
Yeah. Okay, so the second episode we watched for today's show was A Hair of the Dog That Bit You, season 1, episode 3, which was the highest rated and chosen by Seth.
Yeah.
In this one, the Rovers go to London to investigate reports of roaming werewolves and missing members of the royal family.
I gotta say, this episode was just chock full of things that dated this show. Like so many things. One, we saw a depiction of Princess Diana,
Yeah.
which right off the bat, I was like, oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah, especially seeing her get like attacked by a werewolf.
Yeah, that was after we know what befalls that woman, that felt real wrong. But I don't remember when she passed, but I feel like it couldn't have been much long after this show. But I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember, but it was a surprise to see her and Prince Charles, I think.
Prince Charles, yeah. They mentioned Bob Saget at one point. They mentioned Kathy Lee Gifford.
So topical.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, but
right?
yeah, but that's like pulling from the Animaniacs well too, or Freakazoid. Like they're all pop culture reference shows.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, they threw so much in this one episode. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most dated episode ever, I think. So yeah.
Conceptually, this episode was interesting in that I like the way the werewolves looked. Like they were designed really well.
Yeah, I agree.
And there was sort of the mislead that you see coming if you've ever seen anything involving werewolves at all, or I guess any kind of horror movies. You see coming from a mile away, but I still appreciated it for what it was, because it's like, okay, I like that mislead that they did. Where they are the Road Rovers go and try to stop this werewolf, and they give this they don't know it's a werewolf though. They give this wolf hair, or this hair, to Professor Hubert, who is a bloodhound, also kind of a humanoid bloodhound. And his superpower is he just can smell everything, as his species would hint at. So he's just trying to sniff out what kind of animal this was, what kind of monster this was that they took this off of. And going through this whole process, it's like he's doing it for basically a whole night or a whole day or whatever. He's just going through each individual drawer of samples that he has, which I thought that was kind of funny. And just sniffing it and be like, is it an aardvark? Nope. Is it an armadillo? Nope. Just kind of going one by one, just trying to find out what it is.
Okay, so I was curious about something.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a standout part of that scene, and I felt like it had to have some sort of meaning, so I looked it up. Do you remember when he is sniffing through those things and he sniffs Bandicoot and he goes, "Oh, Bandicoot."
Yeah.
Or no, he does that, and then Hunter says Bandicoot, and then he gives a thumbs up and says, "Cool."
Yeah. Was that Crash Bandicoot related at all?
Yes, because Jess Harnell, who voices Hunter, the one that gave the thumbs up, voiced Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't look it up, but I was thinking it involved Crash in some way, but that's cool.
Also, so I was looking that up, and I found another piece of trivia that answered a question too. So in this episode, so that scene with Princess Diana, so she did die very, very close, not long after this came out. So they cut it from the episode.
Oh wow, okay.
So so it came out the first time, and then any subsequent rebroadcasts, that those scenes with Princess Di were cut out.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we saw the uncut version.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So while all this is going on, at some point, what's the Husky's name? Or Exile. He is scratched. He's got scratches on him or something. And, he's not feeling great. He kind of goes to his room, and in the meantime, overnight, we're seeing while I think Blitz is about to take a shower, admiring himself in the mirror as he does, a werewolf comes out and attacks him. And so we're thinking after that attack that Exile took, that he is a werewolf. That's what the implication is at that time. Yeah.
And I mean, you can do the whole guess and thing. And it's we know, just from knowing stories and stuff, we know it's not going to be the simple route. It's going to be somebody else.
Right. We know he's a red herring.
The werewolf, and it's totally true, but that doesn't come until later, where they find a solution to solve the problem and turn him back. And when they're on the way to do it, they're in separate like planes or jets trying to get to this place, and Exile's fine when the moon comes up, but Blitz, who's with Colleen and the other one, Blitz is freaking out because Colleen's the werewolf and she turns into it while they're flying. And that transformation was really cool looking, because that in between stage where she was still part Colleen, part werewolf looked really cool. Like that was a sweet design.
Yeah, they did a good job on some of the animation in this, and I think character design in general. I like their costumes, the way they looked.
I do too.
In such a way, like I wish this had been treated more seriously. Like it had the ability or the trappings, I guess, of a show that could have been, I don't know, treated as like an actual serious show, but it had so many jokes like as its base that it was hard to like, I don't know, it was conflicting with itself, I think. It was ultimately what I took away from it.
I could see that. One other like small little highlight that I thought was kind of funny is when they go to originally confuse us, who is this little, like, what was he, like a Shih Tzu or something?
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's sitting on like, he's supposed to be like, obviously a Confucius metaphor thing. He's just chilling on a little pillow.
The wise dog of the mountain.
The little wise dog. They ask for like how to cure the werewolf thing, but it's his voice that is the funny part.
His voice was reminding me of like Chris Rock or something.
Yeah, it was so funny. I still think it was, no one's credited, but I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Michael Richardson still.
Okay.
But it was very funny. It's very similar to the voice of, there's a police officer in Gravity Falls that has a very similar voice, and without looking it up, it might honestly still be Kevin Michael Richardson. I'd have to look it up and see if it's him, but it's the very similar voice.
I feel like you're right.
It's so funny.
He was really funny in this episode, and like his whole thing is like he'll give you wisdom if you bring him cocktail weenies.
Yeah,
yeah. And just like the dog treat kind, not even like real ones. And so like they find out that swamp water is the cure for lycanthropy or werewolfism. And so they then are traveling, and like you said, during that trip to go to get this swamp water, because they have to get it from a very specific place. I can't remember where it was. I don't remember. That's when Colleen turns into a werewolf and attacks Exile since they're on the same plane together.
Yeah. They end up at, what was it? They end up at Stonehenge or something?
I think so, yeah.
All the werewolves gathered there, and then they have a battle, a pretty cool one too.
That was a good battle. And the stakes are, once the sun comes up, like whoever is a werewolf there will be a werewolf forever at that point, including Colleen.
Yeah. So and they definitely do in the nick of time, because I kind of wanted to call shenanigans, because that sun was up, man. Sun was up when they finally got the cure in everybody. I'm like, y'all are late, but it still worked.
Yeah, that's like a whole like Gremlins, like don't feed them after midnight thing. It's like midnight, like in what time, in what like time zone or whatever.
Yeah. The sun wasn't up everywhere, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, so
that's fine.
So eventually, like, they get the swamp water, and Hunter puts it on this tennis ball that he's always got. Like, that's one of his dog characteristics. He's always carrying around the tennis ball, and it's got slobber all over it constantly. Yeah. And he'll try to share it with Colleen or somebody sometimes, and they're just like, no, I'm good, because his spit is literally dripping from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got the swamp water dripping from this tennis ball, and it's just like, actually they put it inside of like a tennis ball cannon and fire it at these werewolves to turn them back to normal. And all the werewolves except for Colleen are actually human. Princess Di and Prince Charles being two of them.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. That was that episode. It was a cool episode. Probably my favorite of the bunch. I see why it was the highest rated and chosen by Seth.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good one.
The last one we watched for today's show was Dawn of the Groomer, season 1, episode 8, and you randomly chose that one because of the description of it?
Yeah, I saw like the description about like, we get like some cat dudes in here. I was like, that might be kind of fun just to see, them go up against cats. I'm
glad you chose this one, because it really like gave me a lot of insight into a part of this universe that I didn't even understand at all. It's
Oh,
like,
okay, cool.
oh, okay. Yeah, but especially the reveal of General Parvo, like what happened.
Yeah, that was funny too. But also, I got to say that this episode also gave a whole lot of red flags for this show to me that I was not expecting. So I'll get
Okay.
into those as
Yeah,
we
we'll have to
go.
talk about those. So in this one, the groomer turns cats into fellow mutants. I don't remember how they said it, and sets
I think
out
it's
to
philo
create
mutants.
philo mutants to create her own army, basically feline mutants.
Right.
This goes back to like Egypt, 3000 BC. It opens like that, trying to wake mummies for eternal life. The ritual wasn't completed, and that really cuts back over to like present day. Like the ritual gets stopped for one reason or another, and it cuts back to present day, where you've got Colleen and Hunter in the middle of chasing Groomer while the others are like taking some kind of crazy taxi ride. I think this is probably one of the things that you were going to point
This
out.
is definitely one of the red flags. Yeah, there was a heck of a lot of casual racism going on in this scene. Like I was like, oh man.
Yeah, it was very 90s in that sense.
Yeah, it was like just the depiction of the taxi cab driver and how they just made him make like gibberish noises and stuff like that as his language that people couldn't understand. And I was just like, man, come on. Like,
yeah, they were like having to use a translator just to understand what he was saying. And because it wasn't really a language he was speaking at all. Like you said, it was just gibberish.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly the way we're describing this as vaguely as we are. If you got a image in your head, like a sound in your head, it's probably exactly what you're thinking. It's probably right there. And if that's making you cringe, yeah, it's warranted because I sure did. I was like, oh, come on.
It's just one of those things where you got to think about the time period and how unfortunately acceptable that kind of humor was.
Right. And at least it's like I will still give it a little grace too, because this was a kids show, and that like kids will think it's funny without any malice or ill intent, you know? So
yeah.
And there's also the idea too that like obviously this wasn't done with ill intent. Like you can't confuse malice with stupidity. So
yeah, I mean it's just ignorance of the times. Like it wasn't anything intentionally I guess bad, but it came off that way, sure. But you know, that's just like looking at it from today's perspective. But moving on from that, so
I just want to talk about those philo mutants. Those things look awesome, dude. Like those are great designs.
Yeah, those were designed really well. This is where we find out, at least at the start of this episode, that the general just hates cats. Like he doesn't want cat like companions, presumably, or like what he's saying, because like dogs, like you were saying earlier, are the loyal ones. The cats don't have any loyalties, and you know,
that is true.
He wants her, like he finds out that the groomer has been creating her cat army, has been kind of modifying his trans dog fryer machine to make a cat army. And he's just like, no, like get rid of them. Like you can't control a feline. Right. And so she's trying to prove to him at the beginning of this that she's able to, and sends them after the Road Rovers, who are at that point looking for Shag.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the chain of events of everything, but I don't remember everything, and it doesn't matter. But what matters is the cats looked cool. We got a cat and dog fight, which was cool. We got Parvo got super mad and tried to kill Groomer, and we thought he did, like he blew her up, but she lived. And then the episode did like a weird time jump where it was just like 1 year later.
Yeah, 7 dog years or 1 human year later.
Yeah, they do that a lot. They casually do a lot of like 1 year later jumps, you know, in this show, because that happened in the first episode too, but I just thought it was weird that in this one random episode, they're just like, okay, the show has now moved forward 1 year. And I'm like, whoa, all right, well, and like nothing is really changed because like, this didn't make a lot of sense to me. So Parvo too, like you see him later on, like kind of grieving, like, oh, did I make the right choice? And he's like still kind of coughing like he was the day he blew her up, which was a year ago. And I'm like, yo, you said this was a year ago, but this looks like it's the same day. So continuity wise, it doesn't work.
It's almost like the time just got thrown in there as a joke, just to show that time had progressed.
Time had passed.
And like, I guess he had sort of gone into hiding a little bit, or at least not been heard from for a while, General Parvo. And
he went into space. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And so they what happens after that? They spot the like fellow mutants, the giant cat mutants, and follow them and end up being, well, Blitz and Colleen end up being captured by them and taken back to the Groomer, who is now like an empress in Egypt, which takes us back to the beginning of the episode.
An empress of like nothing, though. Like, you know, it's just her and her cats.
Right. I mean, she's a crazy cat lady. I feel like that's how crazy cat ladies are. Like they're empress of their own
She's
cat.
the empress of her own house full of cats. But in this case, it's like the inside of a pyramid.
Right.
So
her plan is to sacrifice Blitz and Colleen in order to, I guess, gain eternal life, the secret of eternal life that they were mentioning earlier in the episode, which doesn't really, like, they didn't need to preface it like they did, because that doesn't come back into play at all, and that person has no significance to the plot.
It didn't happen. Yeah. It meant nothing. Plot gets foiled. Bad guy stopped. This is what I'm wondering. Did those cats die? We never see those cats again. When that thing collapses, we see the Groomer crawl out and she's like, no, I had everything, blah, blah, blah. And she calls Parvo and who picks her up. But we don't see those cats. I think those cats died under the sand. So
they might be. I mean, there's like 5 episodes after this, so I don't know if they come back at all.
Yeah. And there's a lot of weird continuity errors though too, because like also like the beginning of this episode, we saw those dogs that they cured in the first episode, but like in this one, they're like the big hulking monsters again. It's the exact same ones.
Well,
and I'm like,
I don't think they cured the dogs. They just, the time had run out. No, the time ran out for them because he hadn't perfected like the mutation yet. I guess he just remutated them. Although he did that with a dog earlier in that first episode, and then after it transformed back, he just like throw it out or get rid of it. So I don't know.
That's why I'm like, it doesn't make sense. There's just a lot of like
plot
there's
holes.
A lot of continuity stuff. I don't understand what they were trying to do.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so burying the lead as much as we did, like we find out at the end of this episode, after Groomer comes back and begs for forgiveness, after she lost her cat kingdom, she is reunited with General Parvo and ends up like, as he's still doing that cough, you think he's kind of dying from this perspective, but then he coughs up a giant hairball and you find out that he is like part cat, has been part cat this whole time. Or it has been a cat, I guess. It was almost fully mutated to a person. Let me give you something weirder though. Like we didn't see this episode, but I want to say this because it's very strange and it goes into the plot hole thing we're talking about.
I mean, I can make this weird too. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, General Parvo in one episode, I don't know what episode it is exactly. He ends up like in this getting turned fully back into a cat, whatever cat he was before he transformed human, and then is in the same room as a time machine. So of course, and then ends up getting sent back into time prior to him, trying to kill the Dr. Shepard initially. And then Dr. Shepard takes him in as his cat, names him Boots. And then I'm trying to remember it as I saw the description of it. And then he, because Dr. Shepard picked him up and like brought him in, he ended up getting transformed in the first place by that transdogmifier into General Parvo, and then was and that's also how he got close enough to steal his dog Scout to then hold him for ransom to get the blueprint. So it's like it's a time loop that just doesn't make sense, because one of the things would have had to happen for it to even start, but it couldn't have started without that thing happening in the first place. So yeah,
my head hurts so bad now that you've said any of those things.
Right. That wasn't one of the episodes we watched, but that does happen. That's continuity, or that's like that's in so this weird show. Yeah, it is officially. That's what happens.
Let me make the situation weird with him being a cat in this episode that we did watch, which is that like as soon as the groomer finds out that he's a cat, she gets like so turned on. Like she immediately is just like, oh, and like rubbing up on this dude and like hugging all over him, and he starts purring at her. And let me tell you, hearing Jim Cummings purr that was not at the top of my list of things I needed in my ear.
I mean, we already know she's a crazy cat lady. So that's just one step.
This was taking it to the extreme, man. This was too much.
Nothing would surprise me from this show. All the weird canon stuff that is happening in it doesn't take itself seriously, obviously. So it just kind of throws everything to the wall to see what sticks, I guess, including strange cat-human relationships.
Yeah, that stuck. That really stuck.
Yeah. Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our kids to join the Rovers on their mission to stop the evil General Parvo and maybe give the whole team some nice scritches behind the ears while they're at it. Then see what they thought of Road Rovers.
I really like dogs, and I really like superpowers, so I should really like this show, but I think it's just a little too silly at times. And there's just something else about it I just can't put my toe bean on.
After watching this cartoon, I've come to understand that my parents were lying to me the whole time about my goldfish Sprinkles running away. Now I know what really happened to him, why I'll never see him again. He was recruited to a covert team of wisecracking superpowered pets. It's so obvious. I imagine he's still out there protecting us from the forces of evil, and definitely wasn't flushed down the toilet like my brother kept telling me.
Could you imagine, like, what if at one point dude did try to do it with fish and like he immediately changed them and they became human-like, so they grew out of like their little bowls, and then they immediately were just like, I can't breathe, and
Still can't breathe.
They immediately just suffocated and died on the floor and were like convulsing. And then like the Professor Shepard's running around freaking out because he just killed a bunch of fishmen.
I would like to think he would have the foresight to at least give them some sort of water tanks to breathe through. But I
don't know, man.
But the professor being who he is, I wouldn't doubt otherwise.
Yeah, he's made a lot of mistakes, and we know he's not a great man.
Not at
all.
None
of them are.
Honestly, it's his fault that this started in the first place, given that whole time travel thing that I was just talking about.
Why does he have God eyes? Like, why does he have white glowy eyes? Like, what happened to it? I don't understand so many things.
I think that was just a special effect he was putting on to look more impressive or cool? Ominous. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll give him that. Like, he put contacts in with LEDs.
Yeah, sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what did you think of this show overall?
I think the premise is really good. I think it's really fun. It had a lot of cool ideas. I really enjoyed it as a kid. And I do have to say that Exile was my absolute favorite as a kid. Love that dude. Still my favorite. I think he was the best character. Coming in to watch it again with the eyes of a man that's just seen too much, the magic didn't hold up the same way as it did back then. It's not a bad show, in my opinion, but it's also just not really a strong one. They relied too heavily on a lot of jokes that were just like low-hanging fruit and that were just completely overdone by all of the other shows on Kids WB at the time. Like the humor was absolutely the same, and we've talked about this already, as Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid, Hysteria. It was more of the same with characters that could have been something completely different and something better. So yeah, I think if they would have just pushed it forward more, in the story, push the character development forward. I think it could have done wonders. I think it could have been really good. Maybe take it a little bit more seriously. Probably would have lasted more than 13 episodes. But either way, I gave Road Rovers 2.5 bowls of Confuse Us Crunch cereal out of 5.
Yeah, I'm a little torn on how I feel about the show. Like, on the one hand, I did dig the character design and their accompanying superpowers, and some of the jokes even hit pretty well. But on the other hand, it just felt like it was trying to take too many elements from other popular shows of the time, like Animaniacs, Freakazoid, and the like that we've been talking about. But with the superhero squad rapping, which I feel like they really should have like leaned heavier into, sometimes like it did like, do this successfully. Like it was an interesting and fun show, but then it kept recycling the exact same jokes in just about every episode. Like that whole weird boy thing, Colleen forgetting exile or that Blitz exist. Yeah. And then Blitz being very, stuck on himself and talking about kissing his own muscles. It's like, okay, like those are funny independently, but it's like I can't hear the same joke every single episode and it still be funny. It just doesn't hold up the same way. And I personally, like, I think the show would have worked much better in the form that it is as a recurring short segment within Animaniacs or something like that. Especially with how similar the humor felt. Like instead of them trying to drag it out as a long form cartoon with the same styling, like I get that Tom Ruegger just likes this kind of humor and that he's going to make all his shows have it, but it just doesn't work when it's all stretched out like that. When you're trying to have like a seriousness to it, like Freakazoid is already like a goofy character, so it makes sense in his world. Animaniacs, that's what it's all about. Like it's in the name. But Road Rovers should have been something that was treated with a little more respect, I guess. Respect's the wrong. That's too strong. Maybe just like seriousness.
I can agree with that. I feel like, I don't know. The characters deserved more respect. They could have been better.
Yeah.
The characters were great. The show could have treated the characters better.
Yeah, exactly. It was right. I think that's ultimately the point is like, I liked the characters, but the show they were in just wasn't good enough for them. And in short spurts, though, like the show really does work for me in its current form, but I don't think it's something that could have stayed as a lasting franchise, obviously, since it was canceled after the first season for whatever reason. So for that, I'd give Road Rovers 2.5 big bowls of Nasty Boy cereal out of 5. And I think it's okay, but nothing to go out of your way to find. Unless you're a furry, because let's be honest, you probably already have this box set.
Yeah, let me tell you, this show is prime material for the furry community. Like, there's no way it's not, because this has got to be like a gift from the heavens.
Exactly. That's like I feel like in 1996, 1997, that's when the furries were truly born, or some furries were truly born.
Probably made furries.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Like I'm just picturing how many furries were created seeing Colleen or Exile for the first time or Hunter for the first time. Like, there's no way it didn't have an impact.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't want to dive into it and find out because I know I'll regret whatever I find fan art wise. So I trust that this is probably popular in the furry community, but I can see why. So thank you, Seth, for suggesting this. You know what? Like, even though it was my first time seeing it, I'm glad I've seen it now. I would honestly like love to see this revived as a more serious show. I think that would be,
oh my God, yeah,
where it really shines. So there's a lot of potential here.
Could you imagine if someone like Bruce Timm had gotten his paws on this? I see what you did there. But,
I like it.
But seriously, like somebody that's really good at doing like superhero stories that still have some humor and stuff to them, but also can put in heart and action. Someone like that would have just done wonders with this show, I think. And I would love to see any kind of treatment like that.
Even like a cool
comic series
ongoing
would be
comic
great.
Series. Yeah, exactly.
It popped in my head. Our twin thing was going off. I was just like, he's thinking about comic. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you, bud.
But like seeing this like as a cool like anime with like action and stuff in it, I think there's so much there that you could do with this franchise. I hope it's I mean, I know it's like dead at this point, but if it in some way comes back, I hope they really do like make it a show that it deserved to be.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could be really, really strong in the right hands.
Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply has now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, suggested by Patreon supporter 80s Power Extreme.
Oh, cool. Okay. You know what? 80s, everything that 80s likes, I usually like too. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious about this one. I know what it is, but I've never seen it. So if he's suggesting it to us, then there's got to be something there.
All I know is I've seen some images from it that look amazing. That's the only thing I know about it. I don't know anything about the plot, the story, the characters. I've only seen images, and we've had quite a few other people mention this before as something they wanted to see us talk about. So I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is going to be cool. This is one of those that came out, I think, like in the 90s also, and I just had never seen it, but it's been in my peripheral the whole time. So
all right, well,
cool.
Let's move from the peripheral to the peripheral. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going right into our referrals. So once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.